Hey, everybody. Listen, it's a pop up. I'm so excited to talk tonight. So excited to share with you all something that was just really on my heart. And really, this is going to affect those of you all that have really been striving to move forward in your purpose, but you have been really being attacked in certain areas, whether it's been by people or certain circumstances or certain things. You just really feel as though your purpose is getting attacked. Things are looking a little iffy in your life in different areas. Things are looking a little sideways in certain places in your life. You're feeling like, hey, what is happening? What is going on? I thought everything was good. I thought, everything in my life was doing, and all of a sudden things started happening. Things started shifting. Things started falling apart. Things started looking a little crazy. I want to deal with that tonight. I want to deal with something I'm calling plots, potholes, and purpose parasites. And I would just want to come on really quick and just really share something that I believe is going to help. But we're going to deal with it tonight. Plots, potholes, and purpose parasites. And one more time for the people in the back tonight, we're dealing with plots, potholes, and purpose parasites. And the reason I want to, and I didn't have this scripted, I didn't have it planned, but I just wanted to pop on and do this because I felt as though it would be something that would be helpful. I felt like it would be something that would really give us some language to what's happening in our life. So everybody do me a quick favor, hit the share button, get somebody on here, tag somebody, share it to a group, because this is going to, I believe, be very powerful, and it's going to really give us some information about where we are and what's happening in our lives. It's really going to hopefully make some things make sense for us in what we've been experiencing in this hour and what we've been experiencing in this time. Because usually when something is heavy on me, I realize that it's not just me that's dealing with it. It's somebody else. It's other people who may be dealing with some of the same stuff, who may be experiencing it and not really have been able to have language to what's happening. So tonight we're dealing with plots, potholes, and purpose parasites, and I just want to share a little bit about what's on my heart with that. Really, just want to share about something about that and what it does to us and what it does in our to our emotions, what it does mentally to us. So here's how I'm going to start this thing off. And you guys know me, truth plus transparency equals transformation. We're out here trying to operate in our purpose, trying to do what it is that we feel called to do, trying to move forward in working in what we feel like is our assignment. But along comes a pothole. Along comes something that we didn't see coming, and it causes us to trip, and it causes us to get thrown off of our game, get thrown off of what we were trying to do. We didn't see certain things, blindsided us. Certain things came seemingly out of nowhere. Certain things just felt like they attacked us, like it was a plot. Like, what is this setup? What is this? What is this? I thought I was doing what I was called to do. Why does it feel like, and why do I feel as though, that old saying that you can't win for losing? Have you guys ever heard that? I remember being told that I can't win for losing. And I used to, when I was young, I would think, what is that? I don't even know what that means. But as I got older, I began to realize that when we say you can't win for losing, sometimes it feels as though you're out here trying to win. You're out here trying to do what you're called to do. You're out here trying to help people and move forward and accomplish what you're supposed to accomplish. But it's like, when it rains, it pours. If it's not one thing, there's another one of those saying. If it's not one thing, then it's another. When I was young, I had no idea what that stuff meant. I just thought that was like cute dialogue that people said. But as I've gotten older, and the older I continue to get, I start realizing this ain't nothing but plots, potholes, and purpose parasites. And being able to discern the difference will help you and will help us as we try to navigate in new seasons. I believe very wholeheartedly that a lot of us are entering into new places. We're dealing with newness, and along with that newness, it comes new assignment. It's new mindset, new perspective about things, new goals, new desires. Let me stop and ask a question. Anybody here feel like you're coming into something new? And this is the thing, because I don't want you to get thrown off. A lot of times when people say we're coming into a new season, we act as though the old season doesn't have to die. See, that was a mic drop. I know it's not Monday night, but let me just say, when we talk about coming into new seasons, we forget that the old season has to die. And so as we begin to come into these new seasons, a lot of the times we feel as though it's going to look and feel like sunshine and just a magical feeling and this exciting breaking out. But when you come into a new season, when you're in a place of transition, it gets very terse. It gets very tumultuous. It gets very tedious. It can get very tiring and feel very tiresome. And so, as we're coming into this new season, we're not thinking about the fact that we have to shed off the old. We're not thinking about the fact that in order for us to produce fruit in this new season, that some old things have to be pruned. Some old things have to be taken away. This new season, as we're navigating, I think a lot of people, it's a misnomer when people see you changing, when people see you transitioning. It's sometimes it's people's tendency to get an attitude. It's sometimes their tendency to be like, oh, he different. Oh, she thinks she's all that because she's doing something new, and they don't even realize that coming into a new season is one of the scariest things in the world. It can be. I don't know about y'all, but y'all be hollering about new seasons like it's just so exciting, but sometimes new seasons can be very scary. New seasons are very unpredictable. A lot of the times, new seasons are very lonely. New seasons are put you in places where you've never been. And so that means that the attendance sometimes is a little low in these new seasons. Sometimes new seasons require pruning. And I think what happens a lot of the times is we're not aware of the level of pruning that has to take place for these new seasons. I believe a lot of the times what happens is we're not aware of the transition that has to take place in the midst of these new seasons. And so yes, it looks exciting and it sounds exciting and it seems like, and we want to be excited, but the truth of the matter is these new seasons are something else, because as we walk into these new seasons, we get into this process of shedding. We get into this process of releasing things that we've outgrown. We get into the process of releasing clothes. When you come into a new season, anytime something new happens, so let's say you have a new weight, you used to, maybe you were smaller and you gained weight, or maybe you were bigger and you lost weight. Well, there's a transitioning that has to happen, but you have to lose some old clothes. You have to go to a place where things now, they don't fit like they used to. And so now you've got to go through this pruning phase. Now you've got to go into this place where you have to now begin taking inventory on the things that used to fit you and what no longer fits you. And so, and what you realize in that place is, if you've outgrown certain clothes, or if you're growing into new clothes, it's not that you didn't love your old clothes. I hope I'm helping. It's not that, you didn't have a favorite pair of jeans, but the truth of the matter is they don't fit anymore. They're either too big or they're too small. They don't fit anymore. And so I have to move this. I have to either get these altered, man, y'all better hear this, to fit, or I have to go shopping for something new. And so when we get into these new seasons, and I'm setting this up so we can deal with plots, potholes, and purpose, parasites, but we have to understand the reason why these things are coming against us. We have to be able to discern the season that we're in. And a lot of us don't understand that we're in a place of transition. One of the major ways to tell when you're in a place of transition is because things start falling away or things start falling off. When the seasons begin to change. So I have this tree in my front yard, and I remember remember when I first moved, and I saw this tree, it didn't look like much. It was, it was just a tree. And I thought, wow, that's a huge tree. I wonder why the previous owners kept that big tree in front of their house. Like it's not really attractive. It's just a tree. But I was seeing the tree in transition. Somebody gonna catch that. I misjudged the tree because I saw the tree in transition, and so my first thing, I plotted against the tree. I wanted to move the tree. I'm gonna help us here with this plots, potholes, and purpose, parasites. My first thought when I saw the tree was it doesn't really look like much. It kind of even looks like it's in the way. I believe that perhaps it might be an eyesore. So let me begin plotting how I can move this tree. But I let some time go by. I start paying attention to some other stuff, and I forgot about the tree. One night, I got up, and there's this big window at the top of the stairs, and it sits right in front of the tree. And one night, one evening, I was coming out of my room, and there was this glow that was coming from this window, like this orange huge glow, and I thought that perhaps that it was sunset, and that everything was turned around, and maybe it was facing the window. But the truth of the matter was the sun was going down, but the tree had transitioned, and all of a sudden there were these amazing beautiful gold leaves that had popped up on this tree. And so the same thing that I had plotted against and was saying it needed to go because I saw it out of season had become this amazing glorious sight. And I just said, wow, look at this tree and its glory. It was orange, and it was gold, and it was standing, and the leaves had this shape to them. And I remember grabbing my camera and saying, oh my God, what if I would have tried to get rid of that tree because I saw it in transition? I was getting ready to dig a hole, and I was going to have a hole left in my yard that I was going to have to try to figure out how to fill because this tree was in transition. And so that's not even the end of the story. I had gotten used to seeing this tree now being glorious in its gold and orange glory. And so I started now watching. I love this tree. Let me tell you about this tree in my yard. And one day I came and I was like, why is this tree losing all of its leaves? Oh goodness, something must be wrong with the tree. Something must have gotten into the tree. Maybe, I don't know what happened to this tree because it's too early for it to be transitioning, because when we saw it last time it looked like this, but we were seeing it was in the fall, and I was like, I don't understand what's happening with this tree in my front yard. And so here it is. It went again through an ugly phase. See, I'm talking about this transition that a lot of us are in. It went through this phase, and these beautiful orange and gold and red leaves started to fall to the ground. And I thought, now this tree has just made a mess. Everything is falling off. It's just useless. Look at all this stuff. All these leaves are good for now. It's for me to rake them up and put them in the dumpster. And I began saying, look at this tree. Yeah, here it is again. I got to deal with the ugly phase. Now again, it's an eyesore in front of my house. Some time went on, and it started to get cold. And one day I went outside to do something, and something started hitting me in my face. And I was like, nah, I know doggone well it's not snowing here in the South. We when we get snow, we shut down everything, right? And I was like, what is this white stuff blowing on me? And I look up, and this tree is now full of white blooms, like these floral white blooms with these small little pink centers that didn't look anything like. And I'm going, is this a different tree? What in the world is happening? Let me take a picture. This could not be the same tree. So now here it is. What I thought was the tree in its glory phase, where I wanted to keep the tree. No, I want this tree to stay in this gold, red, yellow. I love this phase. It needs to stay here. Now it's something else. Same tree, but now it's in a different phase. And I'm seeing, oh goodness, this tree doesn't look anything like the tree that I used to have, but it's amazing. It's beautiful. And I start recognizing the patterns, the changes, the transitions that this one tree, same tree, began to make. And so I got this revelation. I feel like a lot of us are in a place of transition. We are in a place where we're not at our former glory. We don't look like, a lot of times we say things like, I wish I could just get back to that weight. I wish I can just get back to that mindset. I wish I can just go back to when I was this age. I wish I can go back to the good old days. I wish I could go back. And we're always trying to get ourselves back to a former glory, but not understanding that our latter is though what should be greater. Does not understanding that it does not yet appear what we shall be. And so we keep trying to take reins on our purpose, and we keep trying to monitor ourselves, and we keep trying to regulate our transitioning back to what's comfortable and back to what people remember when I look like this. And so if I start shifting, they're going to be like, oh God, who is she? What's wrong with you? Who are you? Oh goodness, you must be. And the first thing that happens, here it is, I'm dealing with plots, potholes, and purpose parasites. The first thing happens when we start to transition, people start checking if we are going through something, right? It makes it seem like our transition is that we're in this place of torment, and they're just like, oh goodness, you changed your hair. What's going on with you? Oh, you did what? You went and did what? Oh, you must be going through a midlife crisis, or what's going on? You must be acting out. But the truth of the matter is, because keep in mind, the tree that I'm referring to in my front yard, this tree was a full grown tree. Somebody gonna catch this revelation tomorrow. This was a full grown tree. This tree was already substantiated and settled. It just said, hey, but in different seasons, I look like something else. I'm hoping this is going to free us. This tree said, don't get so caught up in what I used to look like, because I'm going to have to go through a phase. I'm going to have to lose some stuff. There are some things on me that might be unidentifiable to the naked eye, simply not because I'm trying to act funny, not because I don't like you anymore, but I'm changing. And so different seasons require a different appetite. Different seasons require a different thing to see. I'm in a different season, so you're going to see me different. So I had to recognize that as I looked at this tree, I said, wow, and this tree couldn't try to hold on to what it looked like in the fall. It couldn't say, I only want to have these yellow and gold and red leaves. This is the only way I want to look. It's this or nothing, because the maker of that tree, the creator of that tree, the planter of that tree understood that it was going to need something different for another season. The creator of the tree understood that if I don't shift you, if I don't allow you to bud something different, if I don't allow you to lose some leaves, then you're not going to be properly positioned to prosper in your planting. You're not going to be able to produce in your next season of purpose. And so I've got to allow some things to fall off. I've got to allow you to go through a shedding season. I've got to allow you to go through a season of loss, because this is a transition. I often have this thing that I say, and I have to say it to myself, because sometimes I have to encourage myself, because a lot of the times we're just like, well, good God, what did I do wrong? Why am I losing everything? No, God is not trying to stress you. He's trying to stretch you. And so I have to tell myself, God is not trying to stress me. I do feel stressed. I do feel overwhelmed, but he's not trying to stress me. He's trying to stretch me. He's trying to enlarge my capacity for my new season. So in this new season, what we have to do, that was just me. That was me breaking up the fallow ground. I hope I'm helping, because I want to deal with this season of loss. I want to deal with what happens when we are in transition. We can't go into the new season carrying dead weight. All right, let me say this again, because I hope y'all tagging and sharing. This is going to help somebody. We can't go into a new season carrying dead weight. A lot of the times we don't understand that as we go through life, we're picking up things, we're taking on things. There are things being left with us, sometimes inadvertently, sometimes intentionally. That's why I'm going to deal with plots, potholes, and purpose parasites. And so we don't realize that as we cultivate our life, as we continue to press towards the mark of the higher calling, as we try to run this race, that there are some things that we've accumulated along the way. Somebody told us something, and or they promised us something, or they owed us something, and so we kept this. Michelle, I'm praying for you. Even now, I'm sending the wind of God as you've lost your mom. I'm praying that the winds of healing and comfort and strength connect with you even now. We send prayers, and we connect our faith and our strength together for you even in this time, to hold you up and to comfort you even in this time of loss. And we just pray that the joy of the Lord, the peace of the Lord begin to be your strength as you move through this season. And so as we go through this season, we begin to think about some things. Sometimes we've carried things for so long that we don't even realize it's dead weight. Sometimes we've carried things for so long. Sometimes we've shouldered burdens for so long. Sometimes we've taken on other people's responsibilities for so long that we don't even recognize that here we are carrying dead weight. We're carrying things that don't belong to us. And so there's a plot against our purpose. And sometimes that plot is for us to be overwhelmed. Sometimes that plot is for us to be weighed down. Why do you think the Bible says, let us lay aside every weight? We have to intentionally dismantle these dysfunctions, dismantle these distractions, dismantle the dead weight. And so the plot against our purpose a lot of the times is to make us feel overwhelmed. And so here it is, just like I was talking about with my tree in my front yard. It got too heavy. I was thinking, man, what a beautiful tree. I was looking at it in its blooming season and I was saying, now that's what I'm talking about. That's a beautiful tree. But I didn't notice, if I would have looked a little harder, after certain times that got too overwhelming. The weight got too strong. It was too much. The leaf, there was no room to sprout, and that tree had to begin to lose some things. There comes a place in our lives, in certain relationships, and in certain places of us posturing for our purpose, that we go through this season of pruning and it feels horrible. We go through this season of strain, and we say, why am I in this season of loss? What, God, really? Everybody is turning away. Everybody, I call it the place of potholes. It's like we're driving. We know our destination. We know where we're trying to go. And then you ever hit a pothole, especially in your good car or a new car, and you're just like, oh my God, I just put tires on this truck. I know doggone well I just didn't run into a pothole, because we understand that hitting potholes can throw everything off of alignment. So we're driving, and we hit a pothole, and the car is thrown off. That's where some of us are in this season. There's a plot against our purpose. And so we're hitting these unexpected potholes, these places of emptiness that are spread out in our destination, and we didn't see them coming. When you think about a pothole, let me make this plain. Y'all know I love to give practical protocol for purpose and progression. So a pothole is a place of loss. So here it is. There is a road, and this road is paved. I'm teaching Amy. This road is paved. This road has been leveled out. It's been laid flat. It's, they've done the work. But one day something happened, and you were just minding your own business driving along, but there was a loss of cement. There was a loss of what should have been substantiated. And so now the very thing that should have held you up is missing. And you're driving and you wonder, wait a minute, why did my tire just just go inside of the ground? What just threw my alignment off? Something just threw me off. Loss. Loss, because this it's loss is a purpose parasite. What it's trying to do, it's trying to take away your joy, and it's trying to take away your focus. It's trying to take away your strength. The other night, Monday night, I dealt with getting your fight back. When did you stop fighting, and how to get back in the ring? And so I believe that a lot of people that are walking in their purpose, a lot of people who are trying to get to the next level as a leader, and get to the next level as a person who is operating in their next level. I think we're going through this place where we're in a pruning season, and all we can feel is loss. All we can feel is something is throwing off the trajectory of our momentum. We're saying, I know that I was supposed to be headed to this place. That's right. Potholes can look like losing a job, or the potential of losing a job. It doesn't have to just be a person, a job, or people. All of a sudden you go through this place. And what happens with this season of pruning, it doesn't happen just one time and that's it. Pruning is this continual process, like it's one thing after another. And if you're not careful, you'll begin to doubt yourself. You'll begin to say, oh my God, what did I do? Did I do so? Let me go back to the throne room. Did I miss the mark? We begin to immediately internalize it and say, it must be me. It must be something wrong. The enemy is having his way, or God is wrong. God is mad at me. Or this could be a pruning season. Um, Today, actually, I don't know if you guys saw, I had put a post up a couple of weeks ago that I had to repot my plants because they had outgrown where they used to live. And so I had repotted them. They're all house plants. And so I took them outside to repot them and to water them, and then to bring them back in. But I got distracted. I had to do something else, and I left them out in the sun a little bit too long. Plot. And by the time I remembered them, and nobody else in my house remembered to bring them in, the leaves had begun to wither. So I had to bring them back in, and I had immediately started to recultivate them. I said, oh my goodness, let me love on them. Oh my goodness, let me water them. I bring them back to life. And one plant, my favorite plant, my ivy, no matter how many days I watered it and talked to it like I did, because it stays in my office. And so because I talk a lot, whether I'm coaching or mentoring or going live, it hears my voice. And we understand plants respond to sound. And so it just had grown. I mean, it was just a glorious plant. And so I was looking at my plant, and I was like, oh my goodness, my plant was starting to die, and I wanted to come back. So I'll just spray it. Day after day, I just kept spraying it, waiting for it to come back. And it started, little pieces started to come back. But I recognized that I'm going to have to prune this plant. Man, y'all better catch this. I recognized that if I wanted this plant to go back to its former glory, and not even its former glory, if I wanted this plant to go to the next level of bloom and to really expand and go to the next, I was going to have to prune it. Now, the pruning process was painful. I was not happy, and I'm sorry if y'all hear my puppy in the background. He's gotten excited. But the pruning process was painful. I'm looking at this plant, and all I wanted to say was, yeah, but I think it can still live. But I started looking at the root, and I recognized that if I kept those dead stalks and those dead places in that plant, that I was going to stunt the growth of the whole plant as a whole. I saw vines where one part of the plant was flourishing, and then there was this part where something had died. And so this part of the plant was not getting the correct oxygen that it needed. Whew. I would catch this. This part of the plant was not getting the nutrients. They would start, and then they would get to this dead place. Until the latter part of the plant, even though it had signs of life, I had to recognize that there was a blockage. There was some dead space. And until I pruned it, that dead place was going to be a purpose parasite. somebody is going to hear. Is this helping anybody? Can y'all put a number one in the comments if this is speaking, if I'm coming down your road, if this is resonating, if I'm all down your street, if where you are at this place, just throw a number one in the comments. I want to make sure that I'm helping the people tonight. So I recognize that I see y'all in there. So I recognize that I wanted to save the whole plant. Here's what's happening with some of us in our friendships, in our relationships, in our business cohorts, in our ministry, and people that we want to hold on to, old titles we want to hold on to, old seasons we're trying to hold on to. I see y'all in the comments. Thank you. We don't realize that dead places are purpose parasites. Um, they will begin to steal the nutrients before it gets to the new growth. They will begin to block the nutrients before it gets to the new growth. So we'll wonder why we're getting watered and why we're getting fed and why we're getting exposed to good stuff and why God has given us new vision and we have a new purpose and we have new focus about where we want to go. Why isn't it showing up in the rest of our lives? Because there's a dead space. And because we are so focused on saving everything and saving everybody and taking care of it all, we don't realize that it's a plot against our purpose. We have a pothole and something's thrown off and something's damaged, but that superhero in us says, I gotta save the day. I'm putting a post up, and the post simply is going to, and y'all gonna hear it first. And the post simply says, don't die trying to make sure that everybody else lives. Jesus already did that. Don't you die trying to make sure that everybody else lives. Jesus already did that. That's what we do. We are stunting our growth because we don't know how to prune. The Bible talks about having to prune us. The Bible talks about he's as the husbandry, as the person who is trying to cultivate the best out of us. A lot of the times we get offended and we get tormented because we say, why did this relationship get cut off? Why did she stop talking to me? Why did they leave my life? Why did they quit now? At any other time, this is when they're gonna stop talking. This is when they're gonna act a fool. This is when they're gonna start being crazy. Now, God is saying, see, you're taking this personal. You're in a pruning process. There's a plot against your purpose. Sometimes keeping people and keeping ourselves in places where there is a transition, that is the plot. That is the purpose parasite. Sometimes we try to keep people in our lives past their time. We've grown into different places, but we're just saying, I did a live. It's on my YouTube page, and it's called "Is That Loyalty or a Limitation?" Because sometimes we don't know how to discern the difference, and so sometimes we stay loyal to a last level, and we're so determined to stay connected and don't want people to think that we are shifting, but that's the plot against our purpose. That's attachment issues. That's a purpose parasite. It's stealing from us. And so sometimes when we're in a transitional phase, when we're going to another level, it doesn't mean that we're going past the level somebody else is going to. We're just going to a different level. We're trying so hard to hold on to everybody. Sometimes the thing that has died is the old us, and we're trying so hard to breathe life into the part of us that has died. We're trying so hard, like I was doing with my plant. I thought if I just kept watering it, I saw the dead places, but I didn't want to cut anything off. I'll just keep watering it till I realized those dead places are stopping the nutrients from getting to the places that can grow, that actually do have the potential to grow. But there we are, loyal to the last level. But this isn't the me everybody knows. I put a post up a couple of days ago, and it's funny because hundreds of people have been sharing it, and I didn't know it was gonna have that effect. But I'm just true to myself, and I put up a post, and it simply said, "You know who I was. You have no idea who I am." Let me say that for about 100 of you all. I had to put a post up, and maybe you've got to say that aloud. You know who I was. You have no idea who I am. The truth is, the reason you have no idea who I am is because I'm being reintroduced to this me. That this 2021 me looks and sounds and acts nothing like the 2017 me. This 2021 me doesn't even like the same things 2017 me like. This 2021 me won't tolerate some of the things the 2017 me would tolerate. And so a lot of the times we keep ourselves in a place of turmoil. It's a purpose parasite. It's stealing because we won't allow ourselves to grow. I'm just gonna be here when they get back. I'm just gonna be the same. They'll come back around. I'll just wait. And we stagnate our own growth. We refuse to shift. We refuse to pivot. We refuse to fly. We hit a pothole. Something got knocked off. Now we're in this place where we need pruning. And we're saying, no, 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 I don't want to let her go. We've been friends forever. No, 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 I don't want him to leave because then what am I going to do? That's the only person who encouraged me. That's the problem. That's the only person who encouraged you. You didn't open yourself up. You didn't allow yourself to expand. So as we move forward, I know, and I'm preaching to myself. I know a lot of the times we are comfortable with familiarity. I call complacency, though, a culprit, and it's a culprit against our purpose. It's a purpose parasite. Complacency. We get caught up in what we're used to, what we've always had. But if what you've always had is all you will always have, where's the transition? Where's the transformation? How can you prove that you're transforming? I just got what I got. It's just me and mine. This me and my day ones. I don't just want day ones. If I decided to keep that attitude, I would not have day 50s and day 300s. Some of the people that I have cultivated, I could not have cultivated them until I made a transition. Sometimes, and I know we don't want to hear this, sometimes those dead spots are keeping the nutrients from getting to the new spots. Sometimes that dead weight, sometimes those places when the commonality has died, when the unification has died, when the compatibility has died, when you see that there has been a lack of migration towards the same goals, when you see that you're on completely different sheets of music, when you see that you're serving in a capacity that your soul is sorrowful about. You have to understand that these things are being made manifest. It's a pothole. It's because it's saying, hey, if I didn't allow this pothole to throw you throw you off, you would still just keep going straight ahead, straight ahead. I'm miserable, but I'm going straight ahead. I'm angry, but I'm going straight ahead. I'm not happy, but I'm going straight ahead. This is stressing me, but I'm going straight ahead. I'm depressed, but I'm just gonna keep going, pothole. And then you'll be like, what? God, why did this have to happen now? Why am I seeing this? Because now you just get to a place where you have to say, hey, I might be in pruning season. Hey, I might be in a place where I need to go back and reevaluate some stuff. You mess around and hit a pothole hard enough, you have to take that vehicle to get a realignment. It says something's off. it might be some stuff. These spark plugs are gone. It threw something off, and so we're gonna have to throw some stuff away. We're gonna have to order some new parts. We're gonna have to replace some stuff. But we're so busy holding on to what's familiar. But if I prune my plant, and I'm gonna tell y'all the truth, I was looking at my plant, and the reason I didn't want to prune it was because I was like, everybody gonna see it looking, it's looking, thin, and they gonna think I'm not taking care of my plant. Uh-oh, this is what happens to us. We're holding on to the scripture says it like this, having a form of godliness, but ain't no power. We want to look good for the people. We don't want to dismantle the dysfunction. We don't want to cultivate this change, this shift in us, because what will the people think? What would they say about me if I do something different? What will they think if I tell them I don't like that anymore? I don't want that anymore. That's not who I am anymore. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's treacherous. I'm a traitor. If any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things have passed away. So I had to realize that the cutting was necessary. I had to realize that I wasn't trying to hurt my tree, my plant. I was protecting it. I wasn't trying to punish my plant. I was protecting it. And as sad as it made me, I couldn't worry about folks saying, "Oh, what happened to your plant?" It's going through a pruning process. My plant is going through a process where I'm going to have to shave some things off. My plant is going through a process where I've got to say no to some stuff. My plant is going through a process where it might not look like what y'all used to it looking like, but in order to protect it, in order to make sure that it doesn't die, in order to make sure that the nutrients that I'm giving it makes its way to the root. Somebody type in the comments, snip, snip. Yeah, this might not be the kind of message that's gonna make you happy, but somebody has to type in the comments. Listen, snip, snip. Oh yeah, snip, 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 snip. And so we have to snip some things. The last thing I'm going to say about this, when it comes to purpose parasites, is we have to be able to recognize how the enemy fights us. We have to be able to recognize what our triggers are. Some of us, we get caught off guard. Because we don't recognize our triggers. We don't recognize when things are coming for us and how they trigger us. Loss is a trigger. Listen, don't get me wrong. Loss is a trigger. When you start losing friends, when people start giving you the benediction, when people start saying, "Hey, it's time for me to do something else," or when people start, saying, this is not working. Our natural tendency, of course, is to salvage. But sometimes what's happening is there's a dead spot somewhere. And the pruning has to happen because the nutrients aren't making its way to your heart. Sometimes the purpose parasite is that you're allowing things around you to take away all of the nutrients that should be making you live a life of prosperity. You're connected to people who are always stealing your time. They're always taking your patience. They're always taking your kindness for weakness. They're always taking you for granted. They're always wanting to be taken care of. It's sometimes we can be in a place where they're taking our attention. Things that are just potholes. Things. It's a plot against our purpose that we have become familiar with, and we don't realize that because we're paying so much attention to it, because we've turned our focus to it, because we are so ingrained and enamored with pleasing people. I did a segment a couple of weeks ago called what was I calling it? The validation viper. If you didn't watch it, go find my YouTube page and watch that. The validation viper. And it talked about how when we want to please people, there's this snake that's called the viper, and it bites us. And now we want to be validated by everybody. But it's a purpose parasite. So we have to figure out where is it where the nutrients where is it where nutrients stop getting to me, where's the block? Something is blocked my ability to stand up for myself. Something has blocked my ability to love without condition. Something has made me desensitized. Something has blocked my ability to reach out to new people. Something has blocked my ability to feel confident. Something has blocked my ability. What is this purpose parasite that's stealing from me? I hit a pothole. Threw my alignment off. But wait a minute. Now that my alignment off, now that my attention, you got my attention. What is it that I need to see? What is it that I need to pay attention to? Because I need to make sure that there are not parasites. Some people, and this is just the truth in our lives. Hello and welcome for the first time. Glad you can make it. Sometimes I'll tell you, when we talk about plots, for me, and plots for me are like triggers, because a plot is something that is positioned to throw you off guard, to get you in your feelings, to aggravate you, to get you ready to snap, to take you back to who you used to be. So you have to figure out, before you can understand the plot, you need to understand the trigger. I want to say that again. Before you can understand the plot, you got to understand the trigger. What triggers me? One of the things that triggers me, cowards. Cowards trigger me. And when I say coward, this is not name calling. I'm talking about the definition of coward. People who are not upfront and honest about things. People who just won't say, this is what it is, here it is, but I'll just do it inadvertently. I'll do it in a passive way. I'll do it in an inconspicuous way and hope you get the picture. I'll post it, or I'll clap back, or I'll tell somebody else, or I'll send it through a third party, or I'll ignore something. I'll be passive aggressive and not do, instead of just, here it is. This is what it is, right? That's one of my triggers. So because I understand that that is a trigger for me, I see y'all in the house. That's y'all trigger too. Because that's a trigger for me. Being fake, saying one thing, knowing doggone well that's not your truth, acting like something is good when it's not, or just that's one of my triggers. So I realize that that's plot. I realize when things like that begin to manifest in my life, it's a plot against my purpose. I know my triggers, so I know my plot. One of the things that trigger me is people who don't try to move towards emotional maturity. The Bible says, when I was a child, I spoke like a child, I acted like a child, I behaved like a child. But when I grew up, I threw away childish things, right? So people who, or just continually, everything is over dramatic. Everything is feelings, 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 feelings. And it's like, at some point we know better, so we can do better. Like, at some point we still talking about that. We still doing that. We still got to have this conversation. We still throwing tantrums. We still falling out. We still, going through whoa. Like, let's grow up so we can go up. So because I know my trigger, then I know the plot. I hope I'm helping y'all understand this, because these are, I see y'all in the comments, y'all making the connection. Put your trigger in the comments. I'll read some of them about victimization. Yeah. When you know your trigger, you'll understand the plot against your purpose. Plots, potholes, and purpose parasites. They all have one purpose, one single objective. And it's to get you out of alignment. It's to get you off your game. It's to get you in a place where you're not producing. We came to produce fruit. So when I start realizing, one of my triggers used to be, years ago, before I got healed, with people pleasing. It was people pleasing. And so because I felt like, I'm a Libra. So I like balance. Everything has to be balanced. I want to mediate stuff. I want everybody to be good. I don't like conflict. So immediately, anytime things would happen, I immediately went to mend it. I immediately went to fix it. And sometimes when the Lord began to stop me from fixing everything, I felt like I was not loyal. What am I doing? What's happening? I gotta fix this. I gotta do this. And again, he says, number one, how can they learn the lesson if you're always the solution? And then number two, he said, some of the things that I do, it's because I'm cultivating maturity in you and in them. And so the hardest thing that I had to do, I understood the plot then. The plot was to trigger me back into trying to fix everything and not let go and be okay with the fallout. I was triggered. So I'm seeing y'all in the comments. It's important. We've got to know our triggers. That's right. So liars. So now you understand the plot is going to be somebody's going to deceive you. Y'all see how we doing it? Hypocrisy. So what's going to happen is somebody's going to tell you one thing, but then they're going to do something else. It's a plot. It's not them. This is just the enemy's plot against your purpose. Gaslighters. Woo, yes. Manipulation. Being in situations where you do things for other people. Look, I don't ask for pats on the back. I don't ask people to have a humble level of gratitude. I do things for people out of the kindness of my heart. And when the Lord blesses me to do something, I'm definitely going to do it. But don't think it doesn't hurt when people don't even give you a thank you. Don't think it doesn't hurt when people that you've supported don't support you back. Don't think it doesn't hurt when people leave you in the time where you've upheld them. Don't think it doesn't hurt when people try to extort you, or when they try to extract you from their progression as though you had no help in it. It does. We're human. But we have to understand that the plot against our purpose is to trigger us with these things so that we can throw everything away. Narcissism, I see y'all in the comments. Fake people, I see y'all in the comments. But we've got to make the connection. When you know the trigger, you'll recognize the plot. So I just was going to come on for about an hour. And I just want to speak to the heart of those of you all who are being positioned to be leaders and forerunners and pioneers to move forward in new things. First of all, I want to let you know that it's okay to transition. As I said about my tree in my front yard, that I saw it going through so many transitions, and I looked at it in its ugly phase, and I thought, why is it here? But that's because I saw it in transition, and a lot of people have been so used and comfortable seeing us in our ugly phase, seeing us in the phase where we were naked, seeing us in a place where we didn't have that. When we began to get our groove, when we began to find ourselves, when we began to discover who we really are, they're offended because it feels like you're forsaking who you were. I just want you to be who you used to be. Oh, I don't. I told you, you know who I was. You have no idea who I am. I'm being reintroduced to this, and I can't afford to apologize for the transition. Old things have passed away. And so give yourself permission to transition. Didn't know that was going to be a mic drop. Give yourself, somebody should type in the comments, I give myself permission to transition. There it is. I give myself permission to transition. Whatever that looks like. You keep going out to eat at the same place with folks because they're used to you going. Tell them, hey, I don't want to eat here no more. I don't even eat that no more. What? But you always eat that. Stop cooking me that. Stop fixing me that. Don't bring me that anymore. I don't like it. Listen, let them get confused and offended and look at you crazy. It's okay. If it's something that's been on your heart, I've been talking to people lately who've been saying, I've been wanting to get this, and I've been wanting to change my hair, and I've been wanting to do it. And look, I'm grown. At this place, I give myself permission to transition. I see y'all in the comments section. I give myself permission to transition. Listen, you have authority. Arrest your atmosphere. Get your authority back. I give myself permission to transition. If that's where I'm headed, then you've just got to yeah, you were used to seeing me in the old season. I told y'all when my tree was gold and red and orange, I thought it was the most beautiful season. I wanted it to stay like that, and I got offended when the leaves started falling because I wanted it to stay like I remembered it. That's how they snapshot us into seasons. Ooh, I felt that one. We get snapshotted into seasons and they say, here it is. I'm taking a screenshot of you. This is the you I always want to see. So show up like this all the time. I can't handle, who is this new you? And then they have the nerve to think you're going through a midlife crisis when you shift. But I give myself permission to transition. Old things are passed away. It's okay if you like something different. It's okay if you don't want to dress like that anymore. It's okay if you're deciding you want to buy something for you now. It's okay if you tell them kids, no, I'm going to do this for me. I'm going to give me some time for me. That it's my turn this time. I give myself permission to transition. It's okay that you don't recognize the person that you're seeing now. But I give myself permission to, because I'm waiting for somebody else to validate my transition. I'm waiting on somebody else to tell me it's okay. They're not. And even if they do, you've got to do it for you. I'm just rapping tonight. And even if they do, you got to do it for you. So give yourself permission to transition. Be aware of your triggers so that you can recognize the plots. And understand that as you move in your purpose, you're going to go through this pruning process, that things are going to die and things are going to fall off and fall away. But it's so that the new you can bloom. It's to make room. Like I said, in the winter season, my tree became snow white, flowers instead of leaves. I couldn't even believe it was the same tree. And and what I start doing, instead of looking at the tree thinking I liked it this way, I started respecting the transition. I started respecting that I can't get so used to them in this season because they might shift, and that's okay. And so I'm no longer going to confine myself to who I used to be and what I used to do. I'm going to give myself permission. It's funny, my daughter had come home and she saw that there was a new salad dressing in the refrigerator. And she said, "What is this?" And I said, "Oh, that's for me. You don't eat that." And I was like, "Yeah, I do now." Like she was just offended. What happened? I don't know. My taste buds changed. Man, that was a revelation for somebody. I don't know. All I know is that my taste changed. All I know is that didn't do it for me anymore. All I know is that no longer fit. All I know is that I wanted something new. All I know is that I wanted something better. All I know is that I had outgrown that space. All I know is that I finally, after so many years of complacency, after so many years of people pleasing, after so many years of becoming what everybody else wanted and what was familiar and what pacified everybody else, after so many years of hiding, I gave myself permission to transition. And I passed that permission on to you. So that's all I had. I just wanted to come and share. I just wanted to come inspire you, come speak to the heart of those of you all, again, the leaders, the pioneers, the trailblazers, those of you who are purposed to progress and to prosper. I don't want you in a season where you are defined by the plots, the potholes, and the purpose parasites, but I want you to live and not die. I want you to transition and evolve and elevate and grow, baby, grow. So if this helped you, I like asking the questions. If this helped you, can you put me in the comments? I just want to make sure that this pour was helpful and that it encouraged and inspired somebody tonight. So just say me if it helped you, even if you're watching the replay, just shout out at me. Let me see it's a me in the comments because I want to make sure that this was beneficial to you guys. I see y'all. Thank you so much. You're so welcome. I'm encouraged when I'm able to encourage. And so again, if you don't take anything else away from this segment, even if you've got to write it down on a sticky note, and even, or put it somewhere where you can see it. I give myself permission to transition. I give myself permission to transition. I don't have to be who I've been because I give myself permission to